there is a positive commandment that the night of the Seder, which is the 15th of Nisan, every Jew, man and woman alike, must partake of the matzah, must eat matzah. In the words of the Torah, be'erev tochlu matzos, in the evening of the 15th, you must eat matzah. At the time of the temple, in addition to the mitzvah of eating matzah, there was a positive commandment to partake of the Paschal lamb. Man and woman alike, one had to eat minimally the volume of an olive of meat of the Paschal lamb. That's a positive commandment. In addition, one had to eat, in conjunction with the matzah and the Paschal lamb, bitter herbs, what we call maror. All three were a Torah mitzvah, Torah obligation. After the destruction of the temple, we no longer have the Paschal lamb, and we no longer are able to fulfill the mitzvah of eating bitter herbs on a Torah level, because the mitzvah on a Torah level is only in conjunction with the Paschal lamb. However, the mitzvah of eating matzah, although we no longer have the Paschal lamb, still retains its Torah status. It remains a Torah obligation, a biblical obligation that one must eat the matzah, the kazayis, the volume of an olive, at the Seder. As a result of this, today, many of the things that we do at the Seder are only commemorative, but they're not obligatory on a Torah level. It's only as a commemoration for what we did when we did have the temple. We have the Seder plate. We have the shank bone broiled, or the drumstick broiled. We have an egg, which is also burnt to a degree. And we have the Seder plate. We have the moror. We have the bitter herbs, whether it's romaine lettuce, many species conform to be considered bitter herbs, whether it's romaine lettuce, whether it's endives, whether it's horseradish, they all qualify as moror. Then we have the charosis. It's commemorative. Whatever the ingredient may be, ginger, apples, nuts, whatever it may be, but it's a representation of the mortar and brick, the thickness. As we initially, as slaves, we engaged in mortar and brick, this is to commemorate the bondage to mortar and brick. But it's all rabbinical, it's all commemorative. But what's most pronounced at the Seder, besides the eating of the matzah, are the 4 cups of wine which we drink. They're known as dalit kosos, the 4 cups of wine which are drunk. And these 4 cups, they're interspersed throughout the Haggadah. The first cup is the Kiddush cup, which we sanctify. We say the benediction of the holiday over the cup. And then we speak about the bondage and the redemption. And the second cup is right before the meal starts. That's before we eat the matzah. During that interim period, we have the karpas, which again alludes to certain things. And then we have the actual meal, the matzah, the moror, the sandwich of the matzah, the moror, the bitter herbs, and the charoses, which commemorates the bondage, the mortar and brick. And then we have the festive meal. The 4 cups of wine based on the Jerusalem Talmud, tells us they correspond to the four expressions of redemption that Moshe had said to the Jewish people. There are going to be four stages of redemption, and the ultimate stage will be, you will be taken as my people, which was Sinai. Before that, the Egyptians were destroyed in the Red Sea. The bondage ceased to be. You were extricated from the bondage. So each cup of wine corresponds to one of the expressions of redemption. But this is all rabbinical, not Torah. There is also, there's an obligation, which is only rabbinical, that when we eat and drink, especially what relates directly to the mitzvos, rabbinical or Torah of the Seder, we recline. We eat and we drink in a reclining position. Why reclining? Because in ancient days, a free man, when he would eat or drink, he would eat in a reclining position. And since we demonstrate, we're reenacting. The Seder is a reenactment of the freedom, of the redemption of Egypt. We are no longer slaves. We are free men today. We are God's people. So therefore we demonstrate this posture of freedom through reclining when we eat the matzah and we drink the 4 cups of wine. Of course, when we eat the bitter herbs, which is to commemorate the embitterment of our lives, of course, we don't recline. But anything which has relevance to commemorate redemption, freedom, that we do in a posture of reclining, which is freedom.